Aidan Davison, how are we doing?
Doing fantastic, thank you, gentlemen. Just getting ready to tee it up in sunny Florida. Warming up with a glass of wine, and the weather is fantastic outside. So
fucking hell, I'm in my garage, me with heating cranked up to 10.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've been there. Don't worry about that. That's why I left. I was over the cold weather. I've been brought up in the northeast of England. I was like done with cold weather. Over it, I like Florida these days. Short weather, short t-shirts, and a bit of golf, and off you go.
How long have you been over there then?
15 years. Lived here 15. Yeah, I've been visiting about 30. I married her last when I was at Millwall in the 90s, early 90s, and she was from the US, so I've been visiting for 30 years, would you believe that? But I moved here after Colchester when I retired in 2008. We moved everybody across here, wife, kids, and everybody. So,
best thing you've ever done?
I've got to admit, I really enjoy living in the US, but from like a coaching standpoint, you know, when you're retired and you want to get into coaching, it's probably not the place to come in those days. Like in 2008, it was difficult, you know, to break through in that scenario. But I mean, top class place to live and bring up kids, outstanding, you know, no doubt about that. There's a lot of things I missed about the UK, like a full English breakfast and a few pints to the lads, but I soon got over that.
I mean, it's a running theme throughout every episode that goalkeepers are a bit different, you know, a special breed. And I think from what we've heard from a few stories from Mark Patterson, Alan Thompson, it seems like you very much fit that mould. Well, what would we say? We've heard that some have got a few circuits loose, should we say? Would you say you fit the mould in your playing days?
Mate, you've just tried to dig yourself out of an hole there. I'm not sure if you really did, by the way.
You know?
No, not really. A few circuits loose.
Well, hey, they say keepers are different, don't they? And everybody we have on says keepers. I mean, we've heard oddballs and weirdos and all sorts. And I think Chris Kirkland's the only normal lad that we have.
Normal? Aye, right. I don't know. I never thought about it that much. They always said there was a keepers union, and I didn't realise what that meant until I probably became a keeper. For me, it was just like my upbringing. I was like dragged up from the northeast in a mining town by grandparents, you know. So it was like you either become a footballer or you're going to go to jail, or you join the Marines. So for me, that was just like, you know, scrapping every day of your life was just standard procedure, and a few pints. But as you get into your football career, you tend to, have the odd fallout, which obviously leads to something else. So I don't know if we're all lunatics, but I think it helps. I do think it helps.
Left Newcastle when you were young. Did that work in your favour, getting away from home in a way?
Well, I left school early doors, went to Newcastle at 16, and that's the year that Newcastle won the FA Youth Cup. And they had some outstanding players in there at the time. Gaza was already in the first team. Neil MacDonald was in the first team. Brian Tinney and Gary Kelly was in goal. But what they did was they saved all the top players for like the Youth Cup games. Then they'd bring all the idiots like me and all the local kids around, like the Whitey S's and everything else. So we play the league games. But that was me start really to the look inside professional football, you know, at 16. And I don't know if you remember those days, like George Riley, Peter Beardsley. So we're all these kids, and everybody had an XR3i. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
The white XR3is. And we'd all line up and go, whoa, look at that, man. That's Peter Beardsley in an XR3i. It was class. But it was just the good times there. Couldn't break through, but it was something that I'll never forget, you know. That was a good year in my life.
So did you do a couple of years in non-league before Notts County picked you up?
Yeah, no, I was at absolutely. I did. I got released to YTS. I think it was Jack Charlton was the gaffer, and he got. I don't know why he left. He got sacked or whatever in those days, and then Willie McFall took over. And I don't know if you know Willie, but one of the coaches came to me and said, "Oh, the new gaffer doesn't fancy you." He said, "He thinks you're shite." I went, "Oh, that's decent. Aye, thanks."
Great stuff.
Well, we liked honesty in football. That's what you said.
Oh, we love it. But this is the one. So I saw Willie in about 19 when I first got into the Northern Ireland team in 93, whatever it was. And I said, "Hey, Willie," he was the assistant to Brian Hamilton. I said, "Willie, do you remember me?" He said, "I'm not sure, young." I said, "Well, I was a young lad at Newcastle, and you said I was shite." He went, "Oh, now I remember it." He said, "You're still shite." I'm like, that's unbelievable. So that a pint of confidence, please, Willie. Aye, that's great, thanks. So there you go. Unbelievable, man. I'm like, cheers, mate. Aye.
Well, so what would you have been 18 when County picked you up?
I was I did 2 years, which for me were brilliant in non-league. That's like I became a man in non-league, playing with a good standard up there in those days. It was called the Drivers Northern League, and you played with steel workers and lads who probably could have made a living, but they were making more money, grafting. But they were certainly hard as nails, and I learned a lot because I was young, skinny, but game as a badger. So I used to get smashed every week, and they'd look after me. And it was just a magical 2 years, that it really was. And then I had a few opportunities, went on trial at Sunderland, led in 6 in the reserves. That didn't end well.
Well for you, son.
Oh, that was an absolute shocker, that one. I can't remember where I went, Leeds away, somewhere like that. I led in 6. I'm like, I think I'm done with that one. And then I had Redden call me, and then Notts County, which was John Barnwell at the time. Went down there, had a crack with him. Thought he was a wonderful fella, great football man, very, humble and polite. I thought, I've got a chance with this. So he gave me this unbelievable deal on 250 quid a week, which was less than I was earning at the time when I was grafting in the brickworks. So I'm thinking, brilliant. I'll get a little apartment. Couldn't afford it. Started to live in a caravan. So I moved into a caravan in a place called Ollerton outside of Nottingham. So that was my first pro contract, man. 250 quid a week. But I tell you what, I was happy. I'm like, here we go. I've got a chance now. I can have a go. But it wasn't easy, mate. I tell you.
What league would Notts County?
They would the old 3rd division, so it would have been then. There was no Premier League. It was 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So that was 3rd division.
Did the club know you were sleeping in a caravan?
I don't think he was bothered as long as I turned up for training on time. But
I bet there were a few disappointed lasses in Nottingham, weren't there, when she thought she'd pulled a pro footballer and she turned up on site.
Hey, it's worse. I had a mini metro. I'm 6'3" in a mini metro and I live in a caravan.
Don't come knocking if the caravans are rocking.
I was living the dream, let me tell you. It was unbelievable. But there was some great characters around then. I loved Gary Birtles was, fantastic, and Jeff Pike, a legend. Ian McParland, Mickey Leonard, Gary Mills. The older pros sort of took care of me, really, because I was raw. I mean, like, I was from, like, a mining town with not many airs and graces, and I certainly didn't understand football too much. So that was a really, really important learning curve for me,
Did any of the older boys take you under the wing?
Yeah, that didn't always end well.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I know Millsy, and I know Gary Mills really well. I know Millsy likes his drink.
Yeah. There was Mickey Leonard, Ian McParland. They sort of tried to take care of me, but I think there was still a little bit of the northeast in me at the time. So, whenever I went out for a pint, it didn't always end well. But Gary Mills, I thought, was a great professional. He did like a pint, but solid professional. And Gary Birtles, Jeff Pike, they were like the older custodians who'd done everything in the game,
But these must have played for Forest and then gone to Notts County later on in their career. Was that
exactly right? I think they won the European Cup, and I'd done everything they had to do, and they came to Notts County, but they were still good pros. In those days, everybody had black boots, and the boots were immaculate. I could always remember you could see your face in them. I'm like, oh, look at this. And just the being around pros, I'd not been around real pros day in, day out. So for me, that was like a real learning curve, and the way they conducted themselves as well, which was good.
Did you get a bash with the first team then?
Yeah, I did. John Barnwell had left, and Neil Warnock came in as gaffer, and I was still raw, but still trying to learn my trade. Hadn't made my league debut. And and I think it was a Tuesday night. I went into town with Charlie. I think Tommy Johnson was there that night, and a few others. Anyway, there was a bit of bother. They kicked off, so I ended up getting locked up, which I'm not very proud of. Anyway, that's life. So Neil Warner comes and bails me out. He's like, it's not a very good start, is it? And I'm like, well, not really, Gaffer, but, you know, I mean, thanks anyway. He said, I'll see you tomorrow. So I turned up, had a chat with him. He's like, you're playing on Saturday. That was my league debut, Preston away. Now, if you remember it in those days, it was plastic. It was like, who plays on plastic? Apart from QPR and Preston. So I was excited, but I think he'd marked my card that it was game over, you know. So went up to Preston, got absolutely battered 3-1. I think I did all right, but, you know, it was game over because he thought I was a bit loose. So he pulls me in and says, "Yeah, time to get you out of here, you know." So he released me, and on our, you know, out I went.
So after you get that, you're out the slammer, and then one game, that's it. You're not.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you know what I mean. It's like, I mean, I think someone slipped on my fist. That was all that happened. But
were there other options to play? I'm just thinking, you've just come out the cell, but then he's giving you your debut. Was that like a bit of a test, or a bit of a giving you a little bit of summer?
Maybe so, because I mean, I actually like Neil, and we got on well later in life. We came across each other again at Sheffield United, but yeah, it might have been a test. I certainly didn't have any personal grievances with him. It was just a professional thing for me. But in those days, you didn't carry like huge squads. There was only Mickey Leonard, I think, myself, and then a YT. So you didn't have huge personnel, you know. So he just chucked me in on a Saturday. I mean, I trained well on the Thursday. I was fantastic. I was fantastic on the Friday. I was just shite on the Saturday.
And even we're sore hand as well.
I mean, even being part of the first team squad's all well and good, but there's got to come to a point where you're thinking, I need to fucking play. Yeah, I need to be
mate,
involved.
guaranteed. I mean, I bounced like I went to Bury with Sam Ellis, and it was hard, mate. And I came across Gary Kelly again, who was like the most consistent man in the world, 7 out of 10 every week. I'm like, fucking hell, got no chance. And my break came when I went to Millwall in '91 with Bruce Rayok. So you're right. You're absolutely 100% right. That's when I started playing, and that's when I realised you've got to be playing, because that's the only way you can actually build, you know, yourself and build what you're doing, and you know, improve as a player. So Millwall was my breakthrough. Prior to that, it was just for me a pure, brutal learning curve. You know, Notts County and Bury. It was just about finding out who I was, really. You know,
were you still young for a keeper?
Say again, mate.
Were you still young from a keeper, typical keeper? You know, they don't normally play till if you're playing at 23, 24 first team, you're doing all right in them days. I know. Yeah, I was
23 at Millwall, so you know, those days I suppose that was young, but I just felt ready. Something clicked, you know, and I got in the team. I had a really, really good pre-season and got in the team, and I just felt like, okay, I felt calm with it and good with it, so I was in a good place. Prior to that, I just felt like I was like lost, a lunatic. I was lost at Notts County. You know?
Did you embrace because the lunatics, aren't they, down there? Did you get?
You know what? I've always had a great relationship with the fans down there. I was just, you know, I wasn't blessed with talent, but I was just honest. So I didn't mind, you know, putting my head in and all that shit, and they appreciated it. I was raw, but I was in a decent place. That was a good team as well, by the way. Like Bruce tried to change like the old guard of like Terry Urlock, and Teddy had moved to Forest. And he just tried to bring in some new players, younger players, like Colin Cooper, and Alex Ray came in, brought in Mark Falco. So we had really, really good nucleus of players, probably underachieved actually. But for me, it just felt like, it felt right, you know. You know what it's like when you get in a team and you feel like you belong. So that was a good time, you know.
How did you get on with Herlock? Because we had Alex Ray on. He did a live show with us the other week. And I think he just said he said something before about somebody being a good cunt. And we were like, is that a compliment or is it a half a compliment? He went, "Tell me, look, it's the first I've heard say it. Hey, you're a good cunt, you."
You know what? I love Alex, and I never forget being at his wedding, by the way, which is another story. But Terry Orlock had left when I'd gone, but we used to go to his boozer. He had a boozer in North London, I think it was. So I'd go up with the old players like Keith Stevens, Alan McCreary, who were really tight with him, and they'd drag along like me, Alex Ray, Malcolm Allen, for a few beers. Andy Roberts, remember Andy Roberts? He loved a couple of pints, so we used to go up there and have a couple of pints with them, you know. And it was just another education for me again, because again I'd only been in the Northeast, and now I'm seeing the smoke, as they call it, and it was proper. It was like people down there would like not mess about, you know. And I'm going, oh, this is interesting. Grown men who will absolutely smash you up, and dockers, but they were fantastic as long as you were doing the business. They'd look after you. So that was a great couple of years. I really enjoyed Millwall.
Did you have to struggle not to get sucked in with like you said, the big smoke? Because I know Alex Ray said there were a point where he just had to get out the place.
Well, I used to actually drink with Alex and Malcolm Allen. And Alex used to live in a tiny little village outside of Millwall. So he would dip his toe in, but we used to really just like go out of the village and out of the town and have a good time. And what do you call that place now? Where Andy Roberts used to live, Darrenth somewhere. And it was like, there wasn't too much around there apart from a couple of boozers, but we could sort of let loose, you know.
So you're proper proper drinking then, weren't you? You know, in proper drinking. It weren't like this pretentious shite now with
No, not at all, mate. Big fella, it was pints, you know. It's like that's the way I was brought up. I was brought up with grandparents, man. So, I was still in that mold, but it wouldn't affect me work. Well, I didn't think it did. I always put it on a shift in, but we were supping, and Alex was, we were, but we'd do all right in training and we'd do all right in games. But I never really got sucked into the big bright lights of London. That was not for me. I'm from a tiny village in the Northeast, you know. So for me, I liked a few pints and a bit of crack.
What happened at Alex Ray's wedding?
I think I woke up somewhere in Glasgow, like on a street, I think.
When you were in Bournemouth.
That's about right. Actually, it started, I remember driving up to Glasgow, and I was with my wife at the time, now ex-wife, in 90, I can't remember, 92, 3, I don't know. And we pulled over because we were lost. In those days, there's no GPS. I don't even think I had a mobile phone in those days. It was like you had to use 10 pence to get on the phone box. So I said, I said, roll the window down and ask this fella. He's a postman. He'll know everything, where this hotel is. So she pulls the window down. She says, excuse me, mate. We're looking for so-and-so. And he was absolutely battered. He's the postman and he was steaming. He rolled... He put his head in the window. We're like, what the fucking hell is this, man? I'm thinking, you're never going to fucking deliver letters, you're hammered. He's like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, all right, no problem, mate. All right, see you later. So that was the beginning of the wedding. But we had a great crack. And I'll never forget, all of Alex's family's got the kilts on and all that shite. And he said, right, girls, we've got a treat for you. They all lined up and said, here we go. Pulled the kilts up, all the bollocks hanging out. I'm thinking, should be a good night, this one. So, yeah, I ended up somewhere. I don't know where I ended up, but I don't know. Fucking wasn't good. That was normal for an Alex night out, you know?
I was at Southampton for a bit and he was off the drink then. But I bet you back when he was on the booze, he just give it his all, whether he's on the pitch or off it, just flat out.
Good footballer, wasn't he?
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was top class, mate, but it was just a strange time in our lives. He just went probably a little bit too deep with that, you know.
Yeah. So how long was it before Mick took over then?
So Mick took over, and that was Mick's first gig. Love Mick, honest as the day is long.
Did he? Because I imagine him. I mean, I played under him, but I imagine even as a player, how was the transition from you sharing a changing room with him, probably going out drinking with him, to then being your gaffer?
Yeah, it ended pretty quickly, but it wasn't like we didn't feel weird about it. We understood that this was his first job, and he went on, and the rest is history. He's still managing now.
Yeah. How did you get on with Keith Brannigan? Because obviously, when you moved on to Bolton, he was already there, I'm assuming, and you'd been competing for places before at Millwall. So were you mates?
Yeah. Branny had a couple of injury issues at Millwall. Always got on well with him. And Brian Horn was there at the time. It was flying. He was like under 21 keeper with England. And then Branny went to Bolton. I stayed at Millwall. And then I followed Branny to Bolton after Casey Keller came to Millwall. But Branny was outstanding at Bolton. It was like another keeper. He was like 7 out of 10 every week. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is unbelievable. This is like a different keeper. So I struggled to get in front of him at Bolton. And that's fair play to him. I had, again, the issues with Branny. Got on well with him.
Was it hard because you got Player of the Year at Millwall to then go to Bolton? And did you see it? Was it a step back for you?
Well, you know what it's like when you move clubs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I knew Bruce. I knew what he was about. I knew some of the players at Bolton. It just never clicked for me at Bolton. I just struggled. And the fans didn't like me at all, which I've got no bother with. You go for your you go for your cornflakes on a Sunday morning and everyone's calling you a wanker. You think, I'm not sure about this one. It's like, fucking hell. I just want to get me shopping, Davison, you wanker. So that became like normal. Even my kids said that after a while. Davison, you wanker. All right, kids. All right, relax. So, yeah, that was hard for me, Bolton. I always remember I was having a pint with Sam Allardyce and Brownie one day. And I'm like, and basically Sam goes, they just don't like you. Because he's honest. I'm like, oh, cheers. Thanks a fucking lot. They just fucking don't like you. I'm like, okay, done. Move on. Bang. So, yeah, it just didn't work there. I played some games, but we had some big games, actually, decent games in the FA Cup. We had a great run in that promotion, but yeah, that was a struggle.
Yeah,
definitely.
Bobby Gimley said Rioch was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Did you embrace it? The diet, the nutrition, the not going out that he was.
Absolutely. I mean, Bruce said to me early on in my career, he's like, son, I'm going to give you some advice, get married. And I knew what he meant. And I did, actually. I got married young. I did it. So I went to Bolton. I mean, settled down. We still had a drinking squad, but, there was still a bit of nuttiness. But we had a good group of, players there that was successful. It just probably wasn't as balmy as it used to be. But, when you think about when the Premier League came in at 91, whatever it was, like all that money came in for sports science and all that, it started to change the game, didn't it? And with more education, you sort of slowed down a little bit with regard to your social activities.
But the thing is, though, like, it must have been hard for you from that generation, because you're used to doing your Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and then now this money's coming and the fitness coach and all that. It must have been like a bit like, why could this not have happened in 10 years' time and we could have cracked on?
It's a good point. I mean, you know what it's like. As soon as you finish the game, win, lose, or draw, you'd be in the players' bar trying to get a few down you before you got in the bus. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, players still performed. You still got it done. It's just, the money from the Premier League, I think players start to realise they can make a shit ton of money. And it was like, look, let's just like go steady. But we still got it done. We still banged it out. You know what I mean? You played. You know what I mean? You know what it's like back then. You're still top players then. But it's just not tolerated now, is it? You just can't. You can't get on the piss.
I think the thing with it is, like, you all were doing it, but so were Man U. Everyone were doing it, weren't they?
Fucking hell. You're not wrong. Talk about fucking Man United. I'm like, whenever we went on our Christmas do at Bolton, we'd go into Manchester. So we're all on the sauce. Fucking Man United's on the sauce. The difference is they're fucking world class and we just like, bread and butter lads who just want to crack on. But I remember one night I'm with, we're all there, but this is a Tomo story, this one. inside the dressing room, we call him Wheels Thompson because he never fucking drank. He was a young lad, came from Newcastle, who should never have played the game because he had a broken neck. So wherever we went, i.e. me, Coyley, well, Coyley didn't drink, McGinn, Jimmy Phillips, it was like we always had brownie, we always had a few beers. So Tomo would drive. So this one night we went into Manchester for our Christmas do. Anyway, me, McGinn and Brownie got into a little altercation and a bar stool goes through the window. I just think maybe fell through the window. I don't think anybody like threw it or anybody else went through the window. But anyway, so next thing you know, we get fucking locked up and Tomo's with us getting locked up. So we're in the back of this fucking meat wagon. I look around. There's me, Brownie, and Tomo. And I'm like, where the fuck's McGinn? How comes he not locked up? As we pulling away, McGinn's in the fucking phone box. As we pulling away in the meat wagon, I'm thinking, what the fuck? How did he not fucking get locked up? Well, that was McGinn. He got away with murder. But so we go into Bootle Street station, right? And I'm like, fucking hell, Brownie, this isn't good. Tomorrow we're going to get really fucked. Bruce is going to chew our bollocks off for this one. Tomo's going, I never had a drink. I never had a fucking drink. So we walks into Bootle Street, fucking handcuffed. Who walks out? Fucking Roy Keane. So we go, evening. He goes, evening. Fucking hell. He's been fucking locked up as well. So I'm like, this is not a bad fucking night. Fucking hell. So, oh God, fucking hell. Poor Tomo, man.
But that's not in his book, is it?
No, it fucking isn't. So the next day, like Tomo was like, Gaffer, I never had a fucking drink. I never. And to be fair to him, he didn't. That's why we call him Wheels Thompson, but he always got in fucking trouble. Oh God. Fucking hell.
It's like, I just imagine it, can't you? Like you on your way in and Keane on his way out, just a little nod. Evening.
Fucking hell.
The nod of approval.
Oof. Yeah.
Jesus.
Do you get involved do you get involved in the Gallon Club?
You're joking, aren't you? You are joking, man. Of course we got it. We went down. You must have been talking to Gizmo about the Gallon Club. Fucking, I've got a story about that. So Brownie was our captain then. He always came up with great ideas. I'm like, fuck. I don't know if you know that area, but I used to live in Last Drop Village, which is going out of Bolton, the top of the hill. There was me, and later on Goodney Bergson. And Jimmy lived at the bottom of the hill, and his local was fucking hell. I've just had a dementia moment. Anyway, so Brownie comes in training one day. Right, lads, we've got a running session. After it, we're going to go to Jimmy's local and do the Gallon Club. So everyone's like, yeah, great. Fucking hell, great. Anyway, we get into the boozer after doing like the fucking hardest running session in history with Bruce. He was brutal. So we get in there, we've got a thirst on. We look at it. It's like 13 pints and it's fucking mixed up of fucking mild Guinness. Then you've got a cider, a lager. Oh, it's random. I'm thinking, oof. Anyway, we get down. A few of the lads start falling over. Some of the older lads get all the way to the end, which was not pleasant, let me tell you.
So you had to have one of every different drink off the bar?
You have to go in order and sequence as well. And by the way, it's not easy getting a pint of Scrumpy, then a pint of Guinness, then, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, we get to the end and we've got a full wobble on. And then Gizmo's like, oh, I need to go to the toilet. So we're like, already? Relax, man. Anyway, we tried to go back the way. So not only we did go down to the Gallon Club down, we did the 13, we tried to go back the way as well. That's a typical...
About turn?
Yeah. We just tried to set a world record. And by the way, when you're in the Gallon Club, you get your name on the board, you get a key ring. Fucking hell. So one of us goes in, I went for a piss and somebody else with me. Gizmo's on the toilet. He's got fucking projectile vomit coming out of his fucking mouth and he's shitting himself. I'm going, you all right, mate? I said, hey, are you coming back in? He said, yeah, no problem. I'll be back in. Give me 5 minutes. Fucking hell. So we tried to go back the way. I think we got halfway down and it was like, the landlord's like, lads, over, done, get the fuck out. So got us intact. He's got us home, but hey, fucking that was brutal, man. We had the shits for 3 days. It's fucking white as a ghost. Fucking Bruce was like, what the fuck happened? Yeah. But the good news is we all got a key ring.
I was gonna say, if Pato's done the Gallon, went and threw it back up and gone back down, is that class as completing 2 Gallon or is he?
No, it's cheating.
Right.
He's not getting the key ring, is he?
No.
You can't get rid of 3/4 of it and start again.
Exactly.
Disqualified.
That's
We're
Good
a
times.
prankster.
Yeah, we all had a bit of fun. We're still on the Bolton thing, aren't we? So I remember going up to Bruce used to take us to Scotland. And we were somewhere like I don't fucking know where we were, fucking Dunblane or somewhere on pre-season. And just standard procedure, pre-season. So the lads want a little bit of a breather. They're like, oh, we're gonna go bowling. So Jimmy Phillips, remember Jimmy? Great lad, 7 out of 10 every week, fucking steady as a rock. Jimmy's like, well, I want to go fishing. I said, Jimmy, I'll go fishing with you. So like, fuck this, let's go. Jimmy's a bit of a fly fisherman. So we goes fishing. The rest of the lads go bowling. Fucking all day, freezing, not a nibble. I'm looking at Jimmy, he's looking at me. We're freezing our asses off. I'm like, Jimmy, fuck this, man. Anyway, as we're packing up the gear, there's this old stinky fish drifting towards the shore. Like, I'm like, hey, Jimmy, look at that. I said, let's grab that fucking thing and we'll just take it back to the lads and say, listen, we've caught this and, have a bit of crack. This thing had like one eye and it was like being floating around in the fucking river for, I don't know how long, 3 months. So me and Jimmy wanders back. Lads are in there having dinner. Fucking drops this, I think it was like a big trout. It was fat, like big. Dropped it on the table, said, there you go, lads. That's what happens when you fucking focus. We've got a big old fish there. Look at that. Some believed it. Some were like, fuck off. So anyway, I said to Jimmy, listen, let's have a bit of fucking banter with this fish. He's like, yeah. So it was easy to lead Jimmy astray. So I said to this mate, I said, listen, let me into fucking McGinley's room. McGinley always room with Coyley. Fucking 2 peas in the pod, those two. So I said to Jimmy, look at this. So we put the stinky fucking trout, which at that time was starting to smell. So we put it under his pillow. Because when you're in a deep sleep, you always put your arm under your pillow, don't you? It's like, oh yeah, just snuggle up. So we put it there, went downstairs, had a couple of beers. Fucking next morning, we're at breakfast. Coyley fucking turns up and fucking starts smashing people around the head with this fucking old trout. We're like, what the fuck is going on? There's guts flying everywhere. He's like, who the fuck put this in there? To this day, he doesn't fucking know, did it? But that thing was fucking passed around for the whole of pre-season. It would end up in someone's wash bag or fucking in someone's bed. Oh, it's probably still over there. If you check the fucking boot skip, it's probably in the boot skip. Oh, fucking brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Were you the type of player that wasn't to be messed with? Because we've had a few lads on that if you do them with a bit of a prank, it's coming back with top spin. If somebody
I never minded it, to be honest. I just liked it. I always think if you can laugh, you've got a chance in life. You know what I mean? No matter what, So I've been in the receiving end many, many times, But I just like a bit of crack. I love the day's graft, but always with a smile on my face. So yeah, been in the receiving end a few times.
What were the best one anyone ever got you with? Where you think full fair play?
That was probably a curly whip in my bed.
Oh, in your bed?
Yeah. And you don't realise, you just climb into it.
You went in?
Yeah, because you don't know, you've had a few beers. So you wake up the next morning, you get up and you go, oh, is it me? And you realise it's not you. And you're like, fucking hell, what is this? It's a fucking disaster. So anyway.
I mean, I've been in some states, and I think if I get into bed and there's shit in it, I think I'm smelling it before I fall off to sleep. Oh dear.
Aye. I want to forget that one.
Rolling over in it and then rolling back the other way and dear.
No. I met just on that one. I remember Alex won't appreciate this one, but Alex used to live in a flat with his missus. So I used to go over there with my ex-missus, have a few beers, and then go to his flat. But in those days, he had an Alsatian. The thing was like a fucking horse, and it would stay in the flat when we went out on the sauce. He actually went back one night, stepped in this dog shite, gets into his bed. He didn't realise it, but that's how bad it was in those fucking days. He's rolling around all over the fucking place and there's shite everywhere. And I'm like, fucking hell, Alex, you need to buy a house with a fucking garden for this horse you've got here. I'm like, Jesus.
He take his shoes off when he gets in bed.
Fucking hell, it was between his toes and everything. Man, it's class.
When it came to moving on then from Bolton, was it just the same case again? Want to get some football in?
Yeah, I just needed to. Yeah. Bolton. Well, I actually had I went to Bradford City on loan. Chris Kamara was a gaffer then. I think they were in the Championship and they were in a bad position. I think it was Colin Todd, the gaffer. He said, get yourself on loan, go play some games. So I went over there and really enjoyed it, and stayed in the Championship, which was great, and that was sort of my beginning of my relationship with Bradford City. Really enjoyed it. It was successful. And I got playing again, and it just gave me that taste that I needed, week in, week out to play. So
what was Cammy like as a manager? I just can't really see it, me.
I don't think it was his strength. I think he's found his forte. I mean, I think he's fantastic what he does now, but I don't think it was his strength, clearly,
Imagine it being a good assistant, a first team coach, just to get to the crack.
Honestly, mate, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just remember that when I was talking to him, he had white shoes on under his desk, like white slip-ons. And I'm like, hell, that's unbelievable. It's like 70s, like porn star. And I could never get that out of my head. I'm like talking to him, but I couldn't take my eyes off his shoes, under his desk. His shoes are sticking out white. He had white slip-ons and I'm going, fucking hell, who wears white slip-ons? It's, I'm like, fucking brilliant. But I actually don't know. I mean, it was always fine with me and I did a job for him and it was successful. We stayed up. Jeffrey Richmond was the chairman then and he was happy. So he looked after me and I went back to Bolton, but it was like, it's time to go. And that's when I basically shipped out after the end of that season,
Was there not an option to sign at Bradford?
I went back to Bradford. Actually, no, I don't think there was.
I thought you signed for Bradford for a year. Did you not sign for Bradford for a year?
No. I went to Bradford when they were in the Premier League and I signed when Jagger was there, Paul Jewell. But that was a loan deal initially when I went to Bradford. I cannot remember what happened. Maybe there was a rabbit off when I was talking to him that he gave me some shite, but I don't know. There was some. I honestly can't remember. I just remember his white shoes.
Twinkle toes.
No, I'm serious. He was immaculate. I'm like, great shoes. Those.
I tell you what I've got in my head. I just got this, Coming to America with Soul Glow when they're on the stage singing and dancing. I've just got that in my head.
Yeah, I know.
Cammy dressed like them with his soul glowing.
Oh, it was brilliant, man. I can't stop thinking about it. Yeah.
By the way, we had a lot of Grimsby fans get in touch and they really rated you, didn't they?
Well, Grimsby for me was like a springboard. We had some really good players at the time. Like older players who had something to prove, like almost like a springboard. They wanted to go there and use it. And I don't mean that derogatory wise. Alan Buckley was the gaffer. And I really enjoyed my 2 years there, actually. It was great. Pitch was immaculate, but just on a slope, I'm like, fucking hell, playing on this every week is fucking brilliant, apart from the freezing your bollocks off. But we went over there in League One. We got promoted in the first year and we just didn't concede goals. 4-4-2, as they'd say. Got Kingsley Black on the left-hand side, Kevin Dunham on the right, Grovesy in midfield, Wayne Burnett. Fucking hell, Grovesy would just crack on, get in the box, score 1-0, thanks. Didn't concede goals and it was like fucking brilliant. So first year we got promoted.
Like you said, that first season though, you must have felt like from fighting for places, you're at Wembley twice in that first year.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
But you must have felt like, right, I'm moving forward.
I'm a footballer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was great. I mean, like I say, that was a really good team. That was underrated for me, which is probably our strength. People used to come to Grimsby and think they could roll us over. One, it's freezing. Two, it's fucking cold and blowing a gale. But the pitch was immaculate. We could play good football. Alan Buckley liked to play decent football, but we had good players. And we absolutely smashed the League One, got promoted. And then I think we should have gone on another year in the Championship. We finished, I think, just outside the playoffs or something in the Championship, but we could have gone on more. I think that team could have got another year in it, in my opinion. But it got broken up, I think, over wages and money and all that shite. But yeah, we had a trip to Wembley in the auto windscreen, I think it was then, which is a great day out for the fans. Really enjoyed that. And then the business one was the promotion, which is a bit more, serious, but again, a great experience with that group of players. I mean, I'm still in touch with that. We have a group chat. Absolutely brilliant. And never forget that. Those 2 years of Grimsby, really, really good.
50 clean sheets in 100 games, apparently.
Yeah. And I don't care if you're playing for the fucking pub or in the Premier League, that's decent. And that's a good team, man. That, like Grovesy, I mean, even when we went fucking a pint after the game, Grovesy would have like 2.5 pints and like run home. He lives 5 miles away. I'm like, okay, he's fucking the fittest man in the world. He'd go box to box, like, you know what I mean? Never miss a beat. I'm like, fucking brilliant. Wayne Burnett had a lot of talent. We had solid players at the back, fucking Peter Andy side, Mark Lever and Richard Smith, fucking John McDermott right back, who just like, fucking hell, like his heart rate was like 60 fucking every day. It was just solid. And we could win 1-0, which is really fucking hard. But I love 1-0s. Like, I'm a defender at the end of the day. I'm a fucking goalkeeper. It's like 1-0 is like fucking brilliant. Let's go. Once we score, I was like, fuck off. See ya.
Did any of the lads ever get in that place, just on the left-hand side as you're going into Grimsby? Like little lights above it, I think. You know what I mean?
You're talking about a fucking nightclub.
Well, I think it was more of a
rub house.
We'll call it a rub house.
I don't know. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, I just know it's been there years, mate, from playing against them. You always used to drive past and see if there were anybody walking in, like.
Oh dear. I don't know. Maybe the gaffer was going in there. Then I don't know.
I'm just going for a rub.
Yeah. No, those were good days. Yeah, Grimsby was. That was good 2 years, man. That was fond memories of those days.
Any crack on Tony Gallimore?
Jesus, he had like a Harry Potter wand. Gally, left foot, brilliant, but fucking hell. It was always an interesting character, Gally. It was like he'd turn up the train. I'm like, what time did you get home last night, gals? 1 o'clock. Brilliant. Okay. But he trained well. But I mean, he was fucking amazing, like how he actually did what he did.
I'm sure. Did he come to Barnsley? I'm sure he came to Barnsley. Were he a left back, Gallimore?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I'm sure he did then. And I think he was the first I ever heard of who used to have 8 pints on a Friday afternoon.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I tell you what, a great left foot. It's just obviously mobility, was his issue, but he was perfect for what we were doing at the time. He'd sit and serve, wouldn't go on too many overlaps, but you got Kingsley Black there or Smithy who could, deliver. And again, would be 1-0. You got Liv up front who would smash people for fun. Then Jack Lester would come on and he's the fox in the box and he'd get you a penalty. Lee Nogan, who was unbelievable, hold the play and spinning. That was decent, that, yeah. But Gally, I don't know, I just thought, Gally, how the fuck do you do it? It's unbelievable.
And that's coming from you, to be fair.
Yeah, aye.
If you obviously like to bind, you're thinking, if you're saying, how does he do it?
Yeah, it was impressive.
It must have been some heavy piece of kit where he's drinking.
Yeah, he was knocking about with Kingsley at the time and Peter on his side, Tommy Woodrington. Those were that was his mob. And interesting group of lads, aye.
Can you remember ever, I'm going to use your terminology here, but drop a curly whip and take it out of training with you?
I mean, probably. But
there's too many to remember.
I always like the one where you're walking the train, you've got like, the McDonald's like coffees, and there's 4 where one of them's a sneaky one, might have a whip in it. And you always get a greedy bastard, don't you? Like you've got your usual little squad, you give like one over there, you have one. And there's always one left, and some greedy bastard goes, "Oh, can I have that one?" You're like, "Yeah, to help you fucking self." That's the one with the whip in it. So that was always interesting.
Oh no!
You're not into your shitting, are you, Chrissy?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but
Not your cup of
No,
tea.
that wouldn't have been either.
how did it come about Bradford coming in for you then?
Oh,
United.
well, yeah, I went to Sheffield United after I actually left Grimsby on that. You remember the Bosman ruling?
Yeah,
A load of bollocks. But yeah, so I left Grimsby, had some crack with a few clubs, but then Eddie Nijvetti called me from Chelsea. He said, "Do you want to come down and do pre-season with us?" I'm like, "Aye, brilliant." So I went down and did pre-season. This is before they signed.
We were at Chelsea at that time.
Still in London.
Yeah, exactly. Still in London. I fucking hell. Train near Heathrow. Vialli was the gaffer. That was before they signed Sudicini. So I went down there. I think Gwyn Williams was the assistant, but Eddie was me go-to fella. You know, he's the goalkeeping coach. I had a good time there, training, doing great. But pre-season, I got like this groin strain, which I got every fucking year because my groins were weak as piss. And I remember going into, they said we're playing Birmingham City away pre-season. I'm like, Eddie, fuck that. I said, I'm out of contract, man. If I rip my groin, I'm fucking done. So I said, I can't play. So that was the end of that, which is fair enough. That was from both sides, you know.
Yeah, you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck that. I said, I've got a few things I can do, but I'm not going to rip me fucking groin off me, you know, pelvis just in pre-season. So I left. They signed Sudicini, never looked back. And then I went to Sheffield United. But I signed for Adrian Heath. But then who walks in the door fucking 6 weeks later? Neil Warner. So the first thing I did is went to Neil, the gaffer, and I said, fuck, mate, do I need to get my gear? Do I need to get... He said, relax, will you? He said, relax, come in and have a chat. And we just sat and had a cup of tea. He said, listen, just fucking tell me why it's broken. This club of this size, you know, it's not functioning as well as it should be, even though there was fucking good players in that team. It just wasn't functioning. And, you know, I think I was pretty honest. I didn't throw anyone, you know, kill anybody. I just said, fucking hell, gaffer, this is how it is. And then 3 minutes later, he fucking said, yeah, you're on your way.
Cheeky
bastard.
No, I think he said the same to Pato, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah. Gizmo has got a difference. Yeah, he got fucked. But no, he didn't fuck me. I went on loan to Jagger called Julie or whatever you want to call him, fucking Paul Jewell. He called
let's go back to this. So you told Warnock, you've gone like this is what's wrong, I think, and all that, blah, blah, blah. And then he's just gone, right, well, thanks for your help, and on your way.
Pop.
I mean, basically, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't as bad as that. I didn't fucking kill anybody. It was just like, gaffer, this fucking massive club, and we fucking soft as shite. We concede goals all over the place. Didn't need a rocket science to work that out. You know what I mean? It was just like, for me, I think I'm honest. And it's like, listen, we're fucking rubbish. We need to fucking do A, B, and C. What the fuck's going on? You can't concede 3 goals and expect to win. So he fixed it straight away. But yeah, Paul wanted me to go on loan to Bradford. I think at the time they had Matt Clark over there and Gary Walsh, and they were both injured. Oh, that's right. So I went over on loan. Big Nev was the goalkeeping coach. Fucking love Nev. Fucking brilliant. And he's like, yeah, fucking hell, you know, good to see you again. Not seen you for a few years, but we need to crack on. So I went over there on loan for fucking 3 months or so. Played, really enjoyed it. I thought, yeah, I need to be here. So after that good 3 month period, we won games. He offered me I think a 4-year deal. So I went back to see Neil. I said, Neil, I've got a few bob order you.
Oh yeah.
I said, but Jags has offered me a nice 4-year deal. He says, then you better fucking take it. I said, all right, yeah, there. Okay, I'll leave the rest then. That's your fucking beer money, is it? Yeah. See you later, gaffer.
So basically, you're getting fuck all. You either go or you're sitting here rotting.
Yeah, I just had to fucking wait up. It took me about 3 seconds. I went, I see you, gaffer.
And Bradford in the Prem.
Yeah, they were. Aye.
So that's a bloody good move, then, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking good people as well. We had fucking Jags was there with Chris Hutchins, great on the grass, fucking top coach. Turi Yorth was there, you know, like good old head assistant. Big Nev was the fucking goalkeeping coach. It was like, I'm fucking going back over there to learn, you know. So
Yeah.
it was a great period for me.
Do you not drink?
Really enjoyed it. Which
Neville?
one?
Neville Southall?
No, he did, but he saw the dark side, I think. So Big Nev doesn't do that. He just drinks tea like a fucking Viking. I've never seen a man drink tea as much in my life. I used to sit in a little chef with Nev talking about football. I'm like, Nev, I can't drink any more tea. I'm like pissing like a racehorse. So his tash would just wiggle around. I'll get it. I'll order another pot, should I? I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Fucking hell. Brilliant, though. Love Nev.
You know, when he said Big Nev, how big were he then when he finished and were he starting to get on his way to how he is now?
No, he wasn't at all. And he was different class head tennis. He used to do a fucking shooting drill with us. Me, Matty Clark, and by the way, Matty fucking should have played for England. Walshy, good keeper. And we going, fucking hell, Nev. And he used to say, I'm going to do a shooting drill, but I'm going to use my hands. I'm like, how was that work then? So he gets someone to smash a ball at him, and he just deflected with his shoulders or his head because he just had unbelievable like depth perception, and he could see the ball off your foot. Like it would take me 3 minutes to see it, and I would like make a save, and he'd go, "That's fucking rubbish. Why didn't you fucking catch it?" I'm like, "Well, because I didn't see it. Like it just doesn't work that way. I'm shit." And Big Nev's like, "Get out the fucking way, right? Smash it at me." And like he'd like be in slow motion and just use his shoulder and deflect it. It's like he just fucking was really fucking good at, you know, shot stopping. But it was a real good insight for me, Clarkey and Gary Walsh, to, you know, see him at that time. And psychologically, he was outstanding. You know, he talked about the game and how he saw it. And I just wish I'd met him when I was 20 instead of 38, you know.
You
well, 30, 35. Say again, mate?
You never tried to chip him, did you?
No, that wouldn't end well. But yeah, I know what you're saying. But I tell you what a fucking head tennis player, by the way. You know.
No one chips.
I can imagine he's just a net player. I can't imagine there's much movement at the back of the court with him.
Hey, he's decent, mate. He's got good feet, man. Decent. And, you know, I'm not saying he's got it now, but he could even fucking play tennis with a cup of tea in his hand, Nev.
I can just remember when I used to watch him. I remember him when he used to get the ball and he used to throw it up, put his head down, and just kick it as hard as he possibly could.
Yeah, I know. Up and under.
Yeah, I know. His head was down like that when he was kicking it.
Yeah, I know. The game's changed, hasn't it? How goalkeepers strike a ball now. It's like, oh my god.
For you Mavericks, Carboni, Collymore.
Yeah, I like Benny. Good technical player. I'd drafted Benny. He'd be first in with the keepers and last out with the keepers. So, like, technically, he was outstanding.
Smooth, well-dressed man, I imagine, and smells.
Benny used to drive a fucking Porsche to training with a suit on. So I used to park next to him. I used to drive a pickup truck because that's just fucking me. I used to live in the, you know what I mean, in the middle of nowhere. but his fucking car was like left-hand drive. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I used to park my truck next to his fucking, so he couldn't get in. He had to go through the passenger door. So he's got this fucking Armani suit on, and he's like, fucking wanker. And I don't care if he dings me door. I've got a pickup truck and there's probably 3 pigs in the back or fucking 2 cows. And he has to go through his passenger door to get into the fucking driving seat.
Just see, like, try not to rip his suit and that, as he's getting his legs over.
Yeah. Fucking brilliant. Like, fuck you, Benny. Brilliant. I mean, that team for me was like a working class Premier League team. You got fucking proper grafters in it. So it's not being disrespectful. I mean, I was one of them, you know what I mean? But it was like, you go to play against a fucking Chelsea or an Arsenal, and you've got world-class fucking superheroes, but you could beat them and compete. But as long as you understood what your strengths were, and that's what it was under Paul Jewell. He really understood what we were good at, and that's why we got results, you know? We were honest as fuck.
Yeah.
Dean Saunders up front, fucking hell, we're running channels at fucking 36. Ridiculous, man. Brilliant for kids to watch him. And like, if you want to be a fucking centre forward, watch him spin into channels at 36. Brilliant.
You weren't there, you know? when they sent him out on loan, were you? Did he get called into the gaffer's office?
Oh, that was later, that man. That he went into, that was Jim Jeffries, that. Yeah, that was a Jim Jeffries story. Fucking hell. I was in the fucking dressing room at that time, yeah. I think somebody called Dino and said, Dino, do you want to go up to fucking, was it Rangers or somewhere on loan? And then Dino's grumpy at the time. He's like, what do they want a fucking chairman up there, do they? So that was like, that didn't go down fucking well at all, to be fair. You know, Dino would fucking, he's the fastest man in the world regarding wit and humour. And if you piss him off, he'll fucking have your lunch, you know what I mean? So Jim Jeffries struggled with handling Dino, definitely. But he was honest as the day as long again, but you just can't run up the wrong way. He'll fucking have you. You'll have your pants down, you know?
I found out he was my manager and I crossed him a couple of times.
Yeah.
He could cut you in half.
Yeah, he can, absolutely, aye. Yeah, he'll fucking cut through to your soul, aye. He fucking can, yeah. He did it. I saw him do it with a manager, you know, because the manager didn't handle it well. He should have pulled him privately and he didn't. So he thought, hello, let's have it. Let's go. I remember when we were on the back of the bus one day with Robbie Blake and Dino and a few of the other lads on the way to a game. And by the way, Blakey, I fucking love Blakey, great fucking footballer, brilliant. But he goes to Dino, he went, hey, Dino, I used to watch you on the telly, like Match of the Day, you fucking good, you, like, you know what I mean? You fucking class, like, la, la, la. He said, I used to watch you all the time. Dino went, oh, thanks, Ewan. And Blakey went, Dino, did you ever watch me on the telly? Dino goes, fucking never watch the third division, son. Fucking hell, I'm going, oh, here we go, fucking hell. Because he was a Darlington at the time. Blakey was only a kid. He'd just come from fucking Darlington. I thought, I don't fucking know where, but it was just good banter. And to be fair, Blakey could handle it. He could dish it out and he could handle it. But that was a typical Dino one.
Beagley, would you have Beagley in that team?
Yeah. Just give it to Biggs. He'll cross it. Thanks for coming.
He'll do 10 chops first, then cross it.
Yeah, 5 chops, yeah. So the striker's doing doggies, trying to fucking change his run, yeah.
Dino pulling his hair out with him.
Oh, 100%. At the end of the game, Biggs is going, well, Gaffer, I've got 432 crosses in the box. Then Dino's going, yeah, but I need fucking a cruciate fucking ligament. Yeah, fucking, you know what I mean? It's fucking, yeah. But that was Biggs. But he was effective, but yeah, he loved the fucking chop. Big time, yeah.
When you found out Grimsby were interested again, you jump at the opportunity to pick up where you left off there?
I did once. I went over and talked to Alan Buckley because he told me about some of the players he was signing. And again, I call them springboard players. It doesn't fucking mean anything. But for me, it was like somebody who's been to a level and probably needs to drop back and play, and then we'll go again. And the team was full of them. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm having some of this. But I always remember the first thing you do when you drive into Grimsby is you go through a place called Pie Wipe. So I'm trying to sell this to my missus going, fucking hell, look at this. We're going to Grimsby. And then I said, hey, look over there, that squirrel. Because we're going through Pie Wipe. If she saw the word fucking Pie Wipe, she said, why will fucking come in here? I'd never move in my life. So I had to sort of distract it going into Grimsby. Because it's proper working class, isn't it? Proper working class. But we had 2 good years there, man. Enjoyed it. Good people.
Get a couple of injuries that year?
No, I was good at Grimsby. Oh, fucking hell. The first injury I got, fucking hell, you like this one. So I'm playing in Notts County Reserves. I'm going back to the 80s now, right? Come out of Notts County Reserves, right? I didn't get injured in the game. Do you remember a lad called Mark Draper?
Yeah.
Played for us. Yeah, fucking decent. Great lad. He had a mullet in the 80s, right? And he had a Ford Cortina. Fucking hell. I mean, there was nothing good to say about this Ford Cortina apart from it had a wheel in each corner. So after the reserve game, comes out and he won't start. So I said, Drapes, I'll just give you a push. I'll give you a bump start, whatever you call it. So anyway, I fucking gives him a bump start. It splutters and farts and then it goes. And then he drives off into the distance. I fucking fell on the floor. Got like pain in my chest. I'm going, fucking hell, that's not so clever. So I'm going, what's that? Anyway, I picks myself up, gets in me mini metro, drives back to my caravan. At this stage, I'm like fucking screaming. I'm going, oof, there's a rabbit off here. Fucking hell. I got into bed that night. I was sweating, white as a ghost. I thought, if I wake up tomorrow, it's a fucking bonus. Anyway, I did wake up. I'm like, fuck, shit, I woke up. I was fucking in agony. You had to be in for treatment at 9 o'clock in those days, sharpish, otherwise you got banjoed. And then John Barnwell's assistant then was a fella called Paul Hart, who would like rip your throat out. So I wakes up. I can't even move my arm. Can't get dressed. Just fucking like falls into my mini metro, gets to treatment about 9:30. First bloke I meet is Paul Hart, angriest man in the world. Fucking pins me against the wall, says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to eat your fucking liver. What you doing being late? I'm like, Paul, I'm serious. I'm fucking struggling. I can't like feel me fucking arm in one side. I think I'm fucking paralyzed. He's like, yeah, whatever. Fucking just a fucking shrapnel wound. Getting to see the physio. I'm like, fucking hell, man. Went to see the physio, told me symptoms. He said, I think there's a problem here. Fucking said, get in your car and go to the hospital. You know, he didn't fucking take me. He just said, get in your motor and go to the hospital. Fucking hell. So he rings the head of the hospital, gets up there, sends me for an x-ray. I had a fucking collapsed lung. It was fully deflated. So I was only working on one fucking lung. So they're like, fucking hell, you're in a bit of trouble, you. I said, well, yeah, I've been saying that for fucking a day and a half. So that was the beginning of my injuries, you know. It's fucking collapsed lung.
Did they ever say to you, oh, I apologise, I might have been a little bit harsh on you?
You know what? I saw Paul Hart years later because I fucking love Paul Hart. Love him. But I'm like, Paul, do you ever remember trying to fucking kill me because I had a collapsed lung? And then he gets dementia. No, I don't remember that. I said, well, you pinned me against the fucking wall and said you were going to eat my liver. No, I don't remember that. Yeah, whatever, Paul. Fuck, you know. Brilliant.
But you played your final 4 years out at Colchester. Were you 40 when you finally retired?
Yeah, you know what? I was going to retire at Bradford City. Yeah, I think I was going to retire at Bradford. And my mate called Phil Parkinson, who got the job at Colchester. He said, Aidan, do you want to come down and have a play for us? I went, Colchester, where's that? He said, just get in your motor and come down and have a look. Went down there, absolutely fell in love with Colchester as a place. Took me to Leigh Road. I don't know if you've ever played at Leigh Road. It's on a hill, 5,000 seater, sorry, not seater, standing, old place. But then he told me about the players he was signing. I'm like, ooh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So I signed for a year, went down there, and had an unbelievable 3.5 years, 4 years. Just really enjoyed it. That was my first coaching role. And, you know, my kids were at that age then where we lived in the country. And, we had a good team. You know, Wayne Brown was in there, Illawarra, Curitan, Greg Alford, Johnny Jackson. Craig
Fagan?
So, yeah, Figs run channels for fun. Kevin Watson, Mark Kennedy. So it was a good side, you know. And I've missed a few out there. Apologies, lads. But yeah, really enjoyed it. We got promotion. Nobody wanted to come to Leigh Road. We used to watch them get off the bus and like piss our pants. Is like, they don't fancy it today because they don't want to be here. It's like 3 showers, not warm, be cold. The change room's like a phone box. They don't fancy it, man. And we'd smash them up, 4-4-2, have that, see you later. So that was really, really a good 4 years. And that sent Parky on his journey as a gaffer, That was his first gig.
Were you number one in that spell?
Yes, I went down there as number one. Well, sorry, I retract that. I went down there to play. But he told me that he had a kid called Dean Gherkin, who he really, really rated. And he wants me to get him into the team. I'm like, yeah, it's brilliant because I'm coming towards the end. I want to coach. And I just had a great relationship with Phil, with Parky, George Williams. It was just a good time. And it was really nice to work with Dino to get him into the first team,
Giving a bit back.
Giving a lot back, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I was playing and Dino was angry, but that was good. I just had to channel it and then just make sure that we got him into a position where he was good enough to get into the team and stay in the team, which was then my job, and I passed that over. So I really enjoyed that. I was ready then anyway. It was not like I wasn't ambitious or anything. I mean, we got promoted. We had a good few years, but he had a lot of talent, and I really enjoyed making him better. And I still speak to him to this day,
See a bit yourself in him when you say a bit angry?
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely had a dark side in him. But if you controlled it, man, a good goalkeeper. He had this little cutter, little side volley cutter. He had, he would come out and spread himself. He was brave. I saw a lot of things in him that I was in myself. And I just wanted to give him the benefit of the other side of it, which is more the mental side of it from when he was a young lad. But I still speak to him. when now really enjoy talking to him about where he's at on his journey.
Did you have Stuart Ailes as your fitness coach?
Yeah. He's a lunatic.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
Well, you know what he built? He built a gym at Colchester in like 3 hours. It was like Bob the Builder.
3 hours?
I think he built it in like his lunch hour. I'm like, Ailesy, what happened? He's like the busiest man in the world. He'd do anything. I'm like, fucking hell. I said, what are you doing this weekend, mate? We had a good result. Are you just going to chill out with the missus? No, I'm going to put a new kitchen in. Oh, right. Okay. And an extension. Fucking extension. So that was who it was, but fucking hell. All right. Okay. I've just put my fucking slippers on.
You might have been clear, but did you used to sing Ring of Fire on the coach?
Oh, that was our signature, man. Top
Every
class.
game?
Why? Because we were winning. Only when you win, though.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Love Johnny Cash.
To be fair, when Phil came to Hull, we weren't singing Ring of Fire very often.
I know. I followed him then. I was following as well then.
I think the problem when he came in, I think the problem with what happened with him were he came in and tried to change things too quickly. Like literally, it's obviously you say he fits Stuart Ailes in, and Frank Barlow, I think he fetched in. Frank was a good guy, and I mean Stuart Ailes. So remember Keith Andrews?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
So Keith, I don't know, say his body fat was 13% and Phil wanted it at 11, right? So he used to have like mine was 17 and he wanted me at 11, but that was a different story. So Keith were in Fat Club in Portugal, when you're running at 6 in the morning and that, and Keith's like, well, I'm at the front of the running, like the training, I'm at the front everything, but because my fat count's 1.5% too high, you're making me. And then it just lost Keith then.
Yeah.
Keith were like, nah, fuck this, I'm off. And we lost one of his better players.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember the time as well. I remember that was a big move for Phil then, for Parky then. And I remember some of the issues that he came up against at the time as well. Maybe that was the big learning curve for him, because he probably has changed since then.
Yeah.
But I do remember, and I'm sure he'd be honest enough to say he made mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that was another problem with the way Ailesy came in and his attitude were like, "You're doing this." You're like, if I don't want to drink a beetroot thing before a game, I'm not going to drink it. No, you've got to drink it. And you're like, you're not telling me what to do. You know what I mean? And I think that caused an issue with it as well.
Yeah, and you think you've got to have a bit of, a give and take there. If you're scoring goals and playing well, you are who you are.
Yeah.
You might want to help somebody, but you're not going to radically change them. Yeah. Because you're not going to have the same player, in my opinion. So maybe that's
where were your Irish roots from, by the way?
Mother, Belfast.
Yeah. We're on a tight schedule, mate. But I mean, we've had a few Republic of Irish lads on who just, when they've talked about going on them Irish trips, that bit of an ease up in between, so to speak, rather than
a little bit. Yeah, Northern Ireland was outstanding. Some great lads on that: Jimmy McGilton, Ian Dowie, Neil Lennons, Stevie Lomas, proper good players as well, but proper lads. So yeah, we understood how to have a couple of pints of Guinness. But we worked hard, we grafted, and I think we did all right at the time. We did all right, yeah. But good times.
When you got the call, were you a little bit like, I don't know, you're playing Germany away, and at the time you're expected to get beat. We're a bit like, we might as well just enjoy ourselves, lads. There's a real good chance we're going to get beat. We'll just have a bit of crack and that. We
always thought we'd win, to be honest, but we did. It was like, for fuck's sake. Hey, we were fucking winning that game, 74 minutes. We were winning 1-0. And they brought on this fucking bloke off the bench called Oliver Bierhoff.
Oliver Bierhoff, yeah.
And he scores a hat-trick in like 16 minutes, and we're like, fucking hell, lads. Well, that didn't go planned, did it?
We've done all right for 70-odd minutes. We'll have a night out, fucking it. Why not?
Yeah, we had one anyway. But yeah, we did all right for 74 minutes. And then he came on and was like, disaster. But yeah, that was my debut was against Sweden, and it was like just the best, man. Like for me, like you sign your pro contract, brilliant, even though it was shit money. Make your Premier League debut, brilliant. Play for Northern Ireland, brilliant. Great memories, great. I've got no regrets with that.
Last one for me. Did you drink a pint during a game once? Was it
during a game?
Bolton friendly, I believe it was. We got that on Twitter, didn't we, against Orich RMI?
Oh, right. Aye, that would have been, that probably came from the stand and I just swallowed it there and then, aye.
Nice, man. I know you're on the golf course, but